Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you all? I hope everybody is well. I am. I might look green, but I am fine. Ah, okay, I shall be right with you. Ah, ah, ah. It is such a lovely, beautifully warm day in this place. So warm that I'm melting. I'm melting. And so I put on another face. No, really, really. I'm wearing a mask because I've done everything I could possibly think of. And yeah, there's nothing to be done. We're in the tropics. Hi, ladies. Hi there. Hi, Tanika. Emerald Sweets. Nice. Thank you. It is so hot. I am. And it's either that or air conditioning. And there's not a whole lot. There's air conditioning in people's offices, and a few people have them in their homes. As a general rule, the windows are wide open because what's supposed to happen is that air is supposed to flow through. And right now, there's not much air doing much of anything. The leaves, there's a mango tree out here, and the leaves are still, nothing happening here. I'm looking out the door here, looking at trees over there. There's a big coconut tree. The leaf on the top, it's just barely moving. And so, yeah, I put a mask on because my face is melted. But since we're talking about masks, it's interesting because it's so hot I can't wear makeup. Literally nothing. I mean, there's no point I'd wipe it off because, well, it would just run off. It literally would just flow off me if I did. And so I'm wearing no makeup. And yeah, so the thought of coming on here without makeup didn't bother me too much because I don't wear makeup all the time as a general rule. I mean, there are times when I do. Well, let me put it this way: I wear makeup, and then I don't. So when I'm getting all dressed up to go somewhere, I'll put makeup on. If I am not, I don't. And sometimes I'm going places and I don't put makeup on, or maybe just a little bit of eyebrow pencil because my eyebrows are not very thick. And I put some eyeliner on. I actually almost always have eyeliner just because kohl eyeliner, just to emphasize the eyes. And powder and foundation, and so that there's no point. That would be a waste of product. It really would be an absolute waste of money. And so I was wondering, as I was thinking about coming on here and looking all like this, and literally there's nothing I can do except find an air-conditioned office. I thought about how many of us hide behind makeup. And I can remember when I was much younger, there was no place. I would not leave my home to go anywhere without makeup. But for all kinds of reasons, including the fact that I had been told that I wasn't pretty. I mean, somebody told me once that my sister is prettier than I am. My sister also once told me, we were about 13 or 14 and experimenting with makeup. And my sister informed me that she doesn't have to put on eyeshadow and so on because she's pretty. I have to because I'm not. So you grow up with those things, and by the time you're 17 or 18, you have a bit of a complex. And because the doors are open, the windows are open, you're hearing the cars go by. I'm sorry about that. But that's life. You're in my life. You're in my life today. Yeah, by the time you're 17 or 18, even before that, you could develop a complex about how you look and so on. Fortunately for me, I didn't. Well, not a deep one at any rate. I think I did to some extent because yes, I love to wear makeup because I love to make myself look different. I love fashion and I love style and I love clothes and shoes. Of course, everybody around me knows that. And so I like the idea of flexibility and versatility. So there are times when I will wear, I mean, something as simple as you wear pants or skirts, wear a suit or wear a t-shirt. All that is being versatile. You know, I work with young girls, they're 12, 13, 14, and they think they have it all together. And they tell me, this is my style. And they're just the one way all the time. Some of them just like boys, some of them just like girls, some of them just like, you know, some of them are goth, some of them are, and that's it. That's the only way they dress. And I keep telling them, that's not fun. That's no fun. I can do that. There are times when I'm just in all black and I look as goth as anybody, and there are times when I'm all pink. I don't wear lace. Well, that's not true. I don't do frilly. That's the only thing I don't do frilly. I don't do much of bows and lace and things like that. I do wear lace, but not frilly stuff. So I'm not that kind of girl. But I play around with makeup and with clothes just like everybody else, and I enjoy it. And when I put makeup on, I like what it does to my face. When I'm not wearing makeup, I also like what it does to my face. But I do know that so many of us women are told over and over and over again, we have it, you know, really just bored into us that we're not pretty, we're not enough, we're not good enough. And so makeup becomes a mask. Makeup becomes the mask that we put on. You know, you see, I've known women in college who go to bed with their makeup on. I know women who go to sleep. Big truck going by, it's a container going by. Sorry. I know women who go to sleep in their bras and everything because you have to look a certain way. And I worry about them because it is so important. It is so very important, we all know, to be authentic, to acknowledge, honor, love, own yourself with everything, every flaw you have, everything you think is a flaw. Yeah. It's only a flaw because somebody set some standards that have nothing to do with you. But you call it a flaw because somebody set those standards and you think you must rise to them, you must adhere to them. And we are taught as women that we must. You hide your blemishes. Who says they are blemishes though? Why are they blemishes? They could be character-inducing things, you know? Last year, I fell off my horse and I split my lip. I got 6 stitches here. And it's made my lip look different to how normally it used to. When I put lipstick on, it looks different. And at first I worried about it. And I called it just exactly you. I thought if it's a blemish. And I thought, no, it's evidence of my life. It's evidence that I have lived. It's evidence that I have lived. Now, of course, you know, I know all the rules, of course. And I recognize that there are times when you just want to look a certain way. But hiding them and pretending they don't exist doesn't help us. You know, I've known, like I said, I've known women who go to sleep in makeup and so on, because I know women who have permanent makeup on because you cannot not ever be wearing makeup. Of course, I know women who we all know women who wear big old baggy clothes to hide something. Women who wear hats or wear hair all the way down here to hide something. And usually, it's nothing that's to be hidden. Usually, very often, I want to say in almost every case, there is some powerful character in that thing that she's trying to hide, which if she pulled it out and left it alone, would make her stand out, would make her be the special one. I found on Instagram a couple of months ago, a young woman who calls herself the Oddity, Sophie the Oddity, and she's bald. She shaved her hair, and besides, she's in mid-20s or something, and she's shaved her hair in a world where, and she's African, she's a Black woman, in a world where Black women spend so much time and money on their hair, and have this notion, we've been taught that the hair is your crown, the hair is important, the hair is this, the hair is that. And she decided to go bald and says she gets all kinds of pushback because it's just not done. But that's how she stands out. It works for her. And you might think that her not having hair is a blemish. It's not. I can tell you for a fact that it's the easiest thing in the world. I've never been completely bald, but I have raised my hair to literally about 1 millimeter. I worked that for years, and I can tell you, I remember when I cut my hair the first time, I was 13 years old. I was 13 years old. I was in fourth form at school. Most of the people in my class were older than me, and the girls were better. All of them, almost all of them, were more developed than I was. They had all the women's things coming in. I didn't, and I was also not very tall. And these girls used to come in the afro and the afro puffs, and they got their curls and their hair all done up all kinds of. And I was wearing braids and ribbons. And one day I decided no, so I combed out my nice afro. I went to school. My dad didn't see me when I left home in the morning, but he saw me at lunchtime. He said, "Come here. What's wrong with your hair? Why didn't you get your hair plait this morning?" I can't remember what I said to him, but he told me, "Tomorrow morning, make sure your hair is plait before you leave the house." There's a woman I used to go to comb my hair. We used to go to her every morning to get our hair plait, braided, you say. And that afternoon, on my way home from school, I had stopped at my grandmother's house in Salem. And this man passed. He was an itinerant barber. He had his box with his tools. And he passed, he said hello to me, said hello to my grandmother, and kept walking. And I got this brainwave. And I called out to him, "Joe, Joe, 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 Joe." And Joe came back. His name, they call him Joe Grocery. He came back. And I said, "You please cut my hair for me." Now, Joe's a grown man. Joe's a friend of my contemporary of my mother and my aunties and my uncle. And he said, "Does your mother know?" I lied. I said, "Yes." And he cut my hair. My grandmother was somewhere else. She didn't see. Joe cut my hair and went away. He didn't charge me. And it's a good thing I didn't have any money. And when my grandmother saw me, she looked at me and she said, "What have you done? What have you done?" And then she said to me, "You shouldn't cut your hair, because even though it's red, it is yours." Because when I'm out in the sun, my hair, you can hardly tell it be my hair, my skin. And they used to say I have red hair. And she told me, "No, even though it's red, it's yours. It's yours." And that was my first lesson, I believe, in owning what you have and who you are, what I am and what I have. And I kept my hair short most of my life since then, just for convenience, but the color has never bothered me. I don't know that it did before. I think it did, because people used to tease me about it. But the other lesson my grandmother gave me about myself is she used to watch this program called Young and Restless. And there's a woman in there. I can't remember her name. But she had a face that was wide like mine. And my grandmother used to say, I remind her of this woman. And she liked my broad face. My grandmother owned my broad face, and I learned to own it because of her. And so I don't hide. I was lucky to have got those lessons. And I was lucky that my grandmother, this woman, actually, I was born into her hands. My mother, I was born at home in my grandmother's house. And the midwife didn't get there on time. My grandmother delivered me. And it just is such a wonderful, wonderful feeling when I think back on these things. And as I do this work with women and how we feel about ourselves, and owning and accepting and honoring our blemishes and our flaws and all, I feel really, 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 really lucky to have my grandmother to look back on. You don't think about these things when they're happening, right? But later in life, you see how they are. And my grandmother was really, really instrumental in helping me do this, helping me learn this. I remember also there's a time when I didn't used to wear nail polish a lot. I still don't, just because my hands are always in things. But I didn't like my hands because my hands are big. And there was a girl in class who had the tiniest little fingers with the nails that kind of curled up a little bit. I wanted her hands. I thought my hands were too big. And then people started saying how beautiful your nail bed is, what lovely hands you have. And I grew to love my hands. Yeah. I grew to be aware of them and own them. I don't hide my hands. I don't hide my face. I don't hide my hands. So if you hear nothing from me today, hear this. Don't hide. Don't hide. Masks fall off anyway, and then people see what's underneath. And what I know of a fact about women, most women, some of the things that most of the things we are hiding are beautiful. They're what make us special. The women who hide their curves. Why? I wish I had curves. You know, there are women who hide their hips, women who hide their legs because the legs are too big or too small. Own it, own them. I can remember in one of the first episodes, one of the first of the lives, I talked about an exercise I do with women. I always invite them to look at themselves. And one of the things I ask them, first I ask them also to look in the mirror, look at your face in the mirror, look yourself in the eye and see what you see and see that you like, love what you see. And then I also ask them to take off every stitch of clothing and and look in the mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror. Turn around, look at yourself in the mirror and love what you see. You got curves, love your curves. Trust me, there are women in the world who wish they had your curves. And there are people who love you for your body, who love your curves. You're skinny, love your skinniness. There are people who want skinny people in their lives. Love your broad face, your broad mouth, your big eyes, your tiny eyes. You know, I have a couple of Asian friends who have actually had their eyes done. I also have a Mediterranean friend who had her nose done because it was too. And I have, like I say, whatever gets you through. But I just feel it takes away so much character of who you are. I think the best, most exciting, most fun, most loving thing to do is accept them, use them, be them. What I know for a fact is that when people love you, they really don't care what you look like. They really don't care what you look like. Dr. Seuss says, those who, it doesn't, for those, oh yeah, there's one Dr. Seuss books. The exact wording is, those who matter don't care, and those who don't matter don't. Oh, I can't remember. Those who matter don't care, and those who care don't matter. Those who care about you, they don't care how you look. It doesn't matter to them how you look. You're clean and healthy, and that's all they care about. So think about that when yourself. Look at the people around you and see how many people there are around you who have quote unquote blemishes, but you love them deeply. And then turn that love around onto yourself. Love yourself just as much with your blemishes and flaws as you love the people you love with their blemishes and flaws. Yeah? So love me, my African nose, my broad mouth, my wide face, my big hands. I have no boobs to talk about. And I love me. Love every inch of me. So tonight, your exercise is, your homework is, look at yourself. Take off every stitch of clothing that you have. Look at yourself in a full-length mirror. Look at the blemishes and stare at them until you fall in love with them. Stare at them until you fall in love with them, okay? All right. I will see you tomorrow. My phone, I should have turned it off. I will see you tomorrow. Oh, let me apologize for last night. Last night was a rough night, and I have to own up to this. I was thinking 45 days have all gone by, pretty much. Today's day number 43. So I got 2 more days, and I thought, I want this to last a little bit longer. And so I thought last night, by the time I was done with my day and I was able to sit for the live, it was really very late, and I thought, let me just skip today, and that means I get to add another day. It lasts a little bit longer. I hope you don't mind. So anyway, I will see you tomorrow, and we'll talk some more about masks and unmasking ourselves, letting ourselves not just be seen, but see and be seen, see ourselves, love ourselves, blemishes, flaws, everything. And also not recognize that our flaws, often what we think are flaws and blemishes, are what make us special. They are what make us different to everybody else. And of course we want to be different because we're different and we're special. So own your specialness, love your specialness. All right? Until tomorrow, take good care. Thank you for hanging out with me. Take good care.